Hi everyone, welcome to day 4 of our session. So let me start the recording and then we will start our session of day 4. So someone is pinging me. Thanks for asking. My weekend was good. I hope you all have spent a good time in the weekend. Hi everyone, you all are on unmute mode. You can unmute yourself if you have something important to say, okay? Otherwise, please be on mute. So let me share my screen without wasting any further time and we'll start the session. So, I hope you all can see my screen now. Can anyone confirm if you are able to see my screen or not?
Yes, we can
We
see.
can see, yes.
Okay. So I will start from where I left on the last class, last session. Give me a minute. Someone is pinging me. So don't ping me or unmute yourself if it is not necessary or if I am not asking you to do so, okay? Otherwise it beeps and it unnecessarily disturbs me. Okay, so in the last session I told you how we plan, right? How we groom and plan. So this is what I explained to you. What is a scrum based agile and what are the designations in a scrum team? Okay, so I will quickly review. Okay, so one product owner which will give you the requirement, one scrum master who will facilitate the entire scrum with whatever they need, whatever access they need or whatever help they need, okay, while testing or developing the API. Then one development lead for providing the technical support to all the developers and testers in designing and all, okay. Then 4 or 5 developers who do the coding work, and then 1 or 2 testers, QA, depending on the uh, volume of work coming, okay. So mostly they keep only one tester per sprint, okay, but nowadays they are keeping 2 QAs as well, one lead and one junior resource, okay. I will explain you why. So what is a sprint? A sprint is a small iteration, okay, in which we complete a smaller part of the requirement. So it is a fixed iteration, duration of this iteration is fixed. A standard is 2 weeks, okay. A standard is 2 weeks means 10 working days, Monday to Friday, Monday to Friday. So what happens in a sprints? On the day 1 of the sprint, the grooming and planning happens, okay. Grooming means the product owner will explain what is the requirement, okay, how many APIs we are going to develop, okay, and why those are needed. So all the question answer, all the discussion happens in grooming, and then the planning happens, right? Planning, I explained to you how it happens. So I will open the Jira board again. Opening. Give me another minute, okay? I'm trying to open, but there is some problem. Okay, let me open another window then.
Hi, Shailesh. I have a query.
Yeah, please go ahead.
Suppose the timeline, the task is did not complete. So we have to complete the task in that particular time, or will it go to the next
We will
sprint?
try our best, okay? We will try our best to complete that. And if we are not able to complete it, that means we are not doing the planning in a good way, okay? If we
Okay.
are not able to complete it, means there is some failure in our planning, okay? So let me open my screen once again, and I will explain to you, okay, how it happens. So I hope you all can see my screen now again, okay?
Yes.
This is the Jira, right? So last time I told you that product owner will create a roadmap, then they will bring that In roadmap, they will create epic, okay? The bigger requirement, epic. You remember what is epic? A bigger requirement. So the epic will look like this, right? So a lot of requirements are there, right? So a complete help desk service needs to be created. So this is a big requirement. So what he will do, he will break down that epic in a smaller requirement. So for now, I have created 2 user stories, right? And in the last session, we have pointed it, right? You remember user story points be assigned, right? So we opened one user story and we discussed about it, right? The entire team, the entire Scrum team discussed about it, okay? And then the Scrum Master asked, okay, how much effort you think will be needed for this? And then everyone played a game, planning poker. You remember? I told you how to play the planning poker. At the same time, the entire team pinged the Scrum Master through some mechanism, okay? Through Bevex, through team chat, or through any external app, right? And then, so last class I told you, right, how it happens. So everyone will give the points, right? So I deleted, I think. So suppose there are 10 members in team. So 2 of them gave 13 points. 2 gave 8 points. And all other 6 gave 5 points. So the majority is here, okay? Majority is here, but there is a huge difference between the points, right? So a Scrum Master will reach out to the people who gave 13 points. Give me a moment, guys. Give me a moment. I'm putting myself on mute. Give me a moment. Sorry, guys, there was some disturbance in my house. Okay, so that's why I took a break. Okay, so let me share my screen again. Yeah, so 2 guys gave 13 points, which is much higher than 5 points, right? So Scrum Master will reach out to these guys to understand what they think about the requirement and why they think that a story needs 13 points. Points is nothing, but it is a marker of the effort needed. Okay, so by a standard, there are points, right? 3, 5, 8, and 13. Anything over 13, if the entire team thinks that this story is above 13 points, then that user story will become epic. Okay, I told you what is epic, right? In the roadmap, we have one epic, right? So again, the Scrum product owner will have to create one another epic, okay, out of this, okay, the child epic of this. And epic will again further be broken down. Okay, so that is how the planning happens. So suppose you have taken 5 6 stories in one sprint and the entire point is 30 or 40. Okay, suppose you committed for 40 points, you discussed in the grooming and planning, right? And you took 40 points in one sprint. So I told you to that in one sprint. So this sprint started. Right now we have only 2 stories here, but suppose you took 5 user stories here, okay? And the total point assigned is 40 for it. That means you have committed 40 points in one sprint. Again, one sprint is 2 weeks of time, right? A fixed iteration. So suppose you committed for 40. So you target to complete those 40. That's why the planning happens, right? If you think that we cannot complete 5 user story, you should highlight it in the grooming and planning that I think, so there are 5 developers, okay? There are 5 developers in your team, suppose, right? Then why you cannot develop 5 stories? You can, right? If there are 5 stories of 8 points, right? Then you should definitely complete it. Or there is a possibility that you have not pointed it correctly. You have pointed some 13 pointer as a 8 pointer. It will happen. It will happen sometimes, okay? But that is how the team learns to point it and to plan it better, okay? As you grow, right? As you go from the first sprint to second sprint to third sprint to fourth sprint, right? So some miss will happen in the beginning, okay? But as the team matures, okay, with the sprints, they know how to point it and how much to plan for one sprint. So how much you plan for one sprint becomes the sprint velocity, and that will become constant as you grow as a team, okay? By the time you reach the 10th sprint or 12th sprint, you know that our capacity is 40 points. So you will not intake anything more than 40 points in one sprint, okay? Clear? Someone had asked me, right, that what if we are not able to complete it within the sprint? Are you clear with that?
Yes.
Yeah. So in the first,
Shailesh,
yes, yes.
sorry to disturb. One quick question. So, who takes the accountability of making sure that we are committing to the work done? Is it the Scrum Master or the manager?
So definition of work done you are asking, right?
Yes, yes.
I
No,
will
no,
come to
not the
that point. I
definition,
will
the
come to that.
accountability. Yes.
I will come to that point. We have
Okay.
just started our sprint, right? We are still in the planning phase. Okay.
Mhm.
Uh, you are talking about the last day of the sprint. I will come to that point. Okay.
Okay, okay,
Just
got it.
have patience. So if you will not point it correctly, you will spend more time and you may miss to finish complete the committed points, right? That means either you have not planned it in a proper way or your capacity as a team is lesser than 40. Okay. There are two things. Again, in the second sprint, you will go, okay, you will decrease it. Suppose you were able to complete only 35, right? But in the second sprint also, you will plan 40. Okay. Again, you will see whether you can do it or not. If you again fail, right, from the third sprint, your scrum master will tell, okay, let's plan for 35 only and let's see whether we can complete it or not. Okay. If you can complete it, okay, before the time itself, then in the next sprint, again, they will try for 40. Okay. So in 7, 8 sprints, okay, after 10 sprints, you will come to know that, okay, this is, so you will fridge at 35 or 40. Okay. Because in the beginning it may be possible that you are not planning properly, you are not pointing your stories properly, okay? You are pointing some 13 pointer as a 8 pointer or 5 pointer, and after when you start working on it, you come to know that, okay, much more effort was needed, right? So in the next sprint you will be more cautious while pointing it. Are you getting my point? Suppose I committed something, right, that I will complete this session in 6 classes, right? And by the fifth day, I will come to know, no, means more effort is needed, right? At least 2 more classes are needed. So next time when I will offer this free class, I will plan for 8 classes, right? That is how you learn anywhere, right? So that is how the team will learn about how to plan, point the story, and how much to take in one sprint, right? By the time you will reach 10th sprint or 15th sprint as a team, you will be mature enough on these things. But there are two interview questions, you note it down now. The most favorite question nowadays is how you do the planning, okay? How you point your stories. What is user story point? So you have to explain that as a team, we play a planning poker game, right? Our scrum master asks, first our product owner explains the entire requirement. We have a good round of discussion about the requirement. And then our scrum master asks us to point the story. That means how much effort is needed. So we have few fixed points like 3, 5, 8, and 13. Based on that, the entire team gives the point according to them to the scrum master through one application or through Jira. You can say through Jira also. In Jira also there is one option, okay? Through Jira we point the story, and after that we have a discussion why, if there is a difference in the points, right? And then we fix one point to the user story. So this is a very good interview question, okay, that you how you point. So if you have not really worked on in any project, you won't be able to answer it. Because if I'll say I play poker, poker is a game, right? But in agile also we play planning poker. Okay, so you can note it down, right? What is a sprint velocity, how it gets fixed? This is what I explained, right? That the capacity of one scrum team in terms of user story point per sprint. Okay, So enough for these two topics. Okay, let's move ahead. So now the planning happened. Okay, planning happened, requirement has been passed to the team. Now the work will start. So the developer one, he will open the user story. Okay, so he will open the user story. So he will read, okay, I have to create one API. Okay, I want an API which can accept registered mobile number to fetch basic customer information from backend. Now his question is, right? So what should be the format of mobile number? Whether we'll be passing only 10 digits or we are going to prefix country code as well. This is a basic question, right? Right? Is any other information also needs to be passed from mobile apart from mobile number? So where you will find these definitions. So when I explained you SOA, let's go back, okay? When I explained you SOA, at that time I gave a very good example, right? This table, you remember? I told you in SOA, we usually test business logic with the help of data as per contract using interface, right? Implementation is done by developer. Now tester will test the business logic with the help of data as per contract using interface, right? So where is the contract? Where is the contract? When the high level business was fixed, they thought that, okay, we will create one web application where we will create one mobile application, okay, where a user will open the application, he will, or this is help desk, right? Sorry for that. So we will create one application when the user will call the help desk. Help desk should be able to open one application on his desktop, right? And he should be able to see the mobile number through which the call is coming, right? And when he clicks on that mobile number, the basic customer information should be displayed, right? But how this will happen? So when he clicks on the mobile number, the get customer information API will be invoked. But from the front end, how the data will be passed, how the front end will receive the data back, and how to display it to the customer. So for that, one contract was needed. So before even thinking about the API, first this agreement was created. Okay. So as a developer or as a tester, your first question to the product owner should be that do we have the API definition created or technical design created? So that is the work of lead developer, okay, for you. If lead developer is not aware from where to get you that data, you will reach out to your, where you will reach out? Anyone? Can anyone tell me where you, to whom you will reach out to?
Scrum Master.
Scrum Master. Perfect. Okay. So a Scrum Master, you will tell a Scrum Master that I'm looking for the contract. Okay. So you will not say you are looking for a contract. There's a technical word for that. Okay. So I'm looking for this thing. From where to get it? Okay. So either Scrum Master will provide you, but mostly you need not to go to the Scrum Master. Before that itself, your developer or the development lead will provide you that. So in the grooming and planning itself, the stories are assigned to the developers, right? One developer has picked it. So suppose there is a Rasmi, right? So this story was assigned to Rasmi. Okay. So if you will go down, so we have created the product owner or a scrum master has created the subtasks as well. Okay. This was the user story. Help desk should be able to query one customer information. So the first task is for development lead, technical design. So he will read the contract, okay, and he will design it, okay. Based on that, the developer will code do the coding. Then again, the developer will review the code, and then the developer will do the unit testing, okay, and then they will get it deployed to the SIT. SIT is nothing but system integration testing environment. Okay, this is one environment server. So they will deploy the API to a server and then the tester works starts. So all these things will definitely take 4, 5, 6 days of time out of those 10 days, right? A sprintage of 10 days. But the majority of things will happen in the first 5, 6 days. The coding things will happen in 5 to 6 days, right? And at the end, you will, in the last 4 days, you are supposed to do the testing. But what tester will do in the first 6 days? This was a question from one person, like, right? If I remember, Jayesh asked this question, right? So what you will do? So you will ask for the contract and you will start planning your testing, okay? How you are going to plan. So right now you don't have anything, right? What you can make out from this, right? Nothing, right? How you write a test case? You are not able to see anything on a screen, that how the screen will look like, how the API will look like. So now, when I was defining REST APIs, let me go back to the REST API definition. You remember I told you that either you need WADL, YAML, right? These are the terms associated with REST, Web Application Description Language, okay? Or yet another markup language. It is just like XML, but much user-friendly language, okay? So now your developer lead will tell you that there is a Swagger, okay? Swagger is nothing but a tool given by the same company who has given you SOAP UI. The name of the company is Smart Bear, okay? So what developer lead will do is, in the same story, he will update in the comment, okay? This is the ideal situation, okay? This may not happen also. This may not happen also, okay? You may have to reach out to the developer or test lead or a scrum master to get it. But ideally, it should be uploaded by the test lead or the scrum master in the story itself. So Swagger or YAML or WADL, anything can be available, okay? Any of these can be available, or IS document. Everything is same, okay? Only the format is different, okay? Don't get confused. I will show you all of these. So what they will do is, this is the Swagger link. They will provide you the Swagger link. Sorry. They will provide you the Swagger link in the comment. No, something else got copied. Here again. Okay, so this is in the comment. So now when as a tester, you will open the story. So now I am the tester. So I will first assign it to myself, okay? I will assign it to myself, okay? I assigned it to myself and I will change the status to in progress from to do, okay? So now everyone in the team now knows that you have started working on it, okay? So what you will do is, you will go to the comment, you will open this link, okay? What is it is, let's see. So don't get scared, okay, of this screen. This is very simple to understand. I will explain you. So the name of the product is customer, okay? And customer has two operations. I told you, right? Methods, get, post, put, delete, right? And operations. So this has one operation that, see, mobile number, right? Customer info by mobile number, right? If you will click here, you can see customer info by mobile number, returns basic info of customer. So this is what our user story was, right? Our user story was this only.
So, Shailesh, actually,
Hmm?
Swagger is just like same as of SOAP UI or REST API. Am
SOAP
I
UI,
right?
SOAP UI is a tool to test. This is an application to show you the contract between consumer and provider.
Okay.
Okay. There is a
Okay.
help desk team, front end help desk team, who must be designing the UI, user interface for the help desk app, right?
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
And there must be one database team or mainframe team who must be maintaining the customer information.
Okay.
Now both have to communicate, right?
Okay.
So consumer is myself, I speak Bhojpuri.
Okay.
Provider is someone who speaks Malayalam.
Okay.
They have to communicate. So for them, our Scrum team is developing one API, right?
Okay.
API. And API will follow what? A grammar, right? API is English. And
Yeah.
English will follow one grammar. That grammar is defined over here.
Okay.
Okay?
Okay.
That grammar is defined over here. It can be in any format. So this is Swagger. Okay. If your suppose one company don't want to pay for this Swagger Hub. Okay, Swagger. This is Swagger Hub. Okay, this is an application. You can also open this. Okay, in Swagger Hub, you can Google and open it. You can see. Okay, it is free of cost. 14 days. I have also created for you free of cost only. Okay, I have created all these definitions for you. So some one other format is YAML. I told you YAML, YAML. So let's open this and see how the YAML looks like. So see this, no, this is not YAML. Take some time. Yeah. So this is YAML. So same information, what you are seeing in this black console, okay? The same information will be present in YAML as well, okay? How to read it? You must be getting confused that how I will read this complex document. It is very easy, okay? So the title is customer API, right? Description is written. The API for operations implemented for customer domain, right? The person who has created it. So right now it is reflecting my name. Otherwise it will show someone else name, right? Now this is the operation, see paths. So this is your operation, customer info mobile number. So this is the resource URL. And the method used is get, right? Correct? Everything is user readable, right? Description is returns basic info of customer. Operation ID is get customer info. What parameters it will take? First is mobile number, right? Type is path parameter, right? Description of that field is mobile number of customer. Required true means it is a mandatory field. It is a required field, right? Style simple, right? Max length is 10. Minimum length is also 10. So it will not accept anything greater than 10 or less than 10. Type is a string. A string means text format. Okay. But the format is integer. It should be numeric only. But it will be passed as a text. Right. The another parameter is consumer ID. See the name, right? Can you see the names? Name was mobile number, the first parameter. The second name is consumer ID. So this was not in the Jira, right? You may ask this, that this definition was not there in the Jira. From where you got this? Here only I was asked to pass the mobile number, right? Registered mobile number to fetch the basic information, right? But this is how the contract happens. So that now the provider wants, I need to know from where this request is coming. So I cannot respond to any XYZ person, right? If JS will send me the request, I will not send him the customer info. I will send customer info only to the authorized applications. So they want one consumer ID as well for authorization purpose. Okay. Again, the details of consumer ID will be defined here. So this is YAML. Okay. I will show you much simpler thing which is Swagger. Okay.
Shailesh, one quick question. So
So
in line number, there is a 21 line in path. What does it mean?
20,
21 in path.
21. So it is a path parameter. So when I was telling you about the REST APIs, I must have told you the methods get, post, put, delete, and parameters template, query, header.
Oh,
Right?
okay.
So path parameter is nothing but template parameter. So template can be called as path parameter as well. Okay.
Okay, okay.
Okay.
So Shailesh, a quick question.
Mhm.
So who developed this thing, like all this like kind of a communication, whatever
So
we saw just right now, like in Jira, who developed it? The developer will be developing it, all of this?
this one,
Yeah.
no, developer will not be developing it. Developer will develop based on this.
Okay, so where we will get this information from? Like
So
this one.
when they do the business requirement, right? That means there will be one web application where the help desk will click on this button, then he should get this information, right? So one another team must be there, right? Who will say that, okay, so they will contact the provider team that how you are going to respond, in what format you want the request, okay? Or it may be
Okay.
your team also, but developer will not do it. Your lead developer will do it, okay? So
Okay.
he has to do one meeting before the start of a sprint itself. When the product owner takes this requirement, epic, before that itself, these things needs to be defined.
Okay.
Otherwise, in the first sprint, you will be designing only this thing, okay? And in the
Yeah.
sprint 2, you will be developing.
Hmm.
Maybe possible that your team has to design this, okay? But both the things cannot happen parallelly because testers need something or developer needs something based on which they will do the development,
Okay.
right?
Yeah.
Developers should be knowing that what fields the input parameter will be, right? What
Okay.
fields I'm going to receive in the response.
Okay.
Right?
Thank you.
Yeah. So it
Shailesh, I have a question like from the developer, business analyst, and the tester. Usually, practically, who takes the maximum time, or who at which stage is the maximum time consumed? Is it just the developing or the business
depends.
analyst work?
It depends, okay? It depends on the requirement. Some requirements are very easy to understand from BA perspective, but it is very tough to implement, right? Like bank payment transfer, right? To external banks or through countries, right? It is a simple requirement. From BA perspective, if you will think it is nothing, just transit number, Swift number, and it should be done, right?
Okay.
But from developers perspective, they have to invoke 4 5 external APIs, okay?
So can one, act as an ambiguous role between, BA and a developer if somebody knows both?
Lead developer. He will
Okay.
do the technical design, right? He will understand, okay, which APIs to invoke, which database to invoke, okay, from where I will get this data, which all external APIs I have to call, right? He will do all the designing.
So is he doing the business analyst work as well?
No, he will do only the technical work.
Okay. Okay, got
BA
it.
will give the requirement, okay? They will understand the business. That means what we are going to achieve, what we are trying to achieve, okay? And they will explain it to the product owner, okay? That this is what the business wants, okay? How
Okay,
we are
got
going
it.
to so suppose it is going to be developed for help desk, right? Help desk. So product owner will ask you that how help desk is going to receive the call. That BA should be able to explain, right? That the call will connect automatically, right? The help desk person should be able to see the mobile number on the screen. All this information will be discussed, right? And then the lead developer or even so see, this is not only the one sprint running, right? There will be multiple Scrum teams running in parallel, right? Do you think only 5 developers are working for one corporate? No, right? So the scope of work will be different for different teams. So there
Yeah.
may be another Scrum team whose work is only to develop the contracts for the incoming APIs. Okay.
Okay.
But
Got
there
it,
is no
Shailesh.
testing involved. Only the design work is happening there.
Yeah.
Right?
Thanks, Shailesh.
And that is the prerequisite for our Scrum team, that team should sign off their work. Then only we will intake our work, right? So there
Sure.
are several teams working in parallel, okay? All the teams are interdependent, right? So I am explaining you that all the contract is finalized and then product owner gave you this requirement that now we have to develop this API. There are a lot of background work already happened, right? And a lot of background work will happen after this development as well. But this is the core development, okay? Development cycle.
So the whole process which we are discussing will be only for enterprise level softwares which are being developed?
Yes. So this course is for testing, right? So what you will test? You are not going to test the Swagger file, right? Swagger file, what you will test in this Swagger? Tell me. If I tell you to test this, what you will test? You cannot pass anything, you cannot get anything. It is just for the viewing purpose, right? You can also create it, but the creator must be aware of the business needs and how the provider and the consumer system works. So when I click on, let me open one website for you. When I pass a something type here and I press on enter, right? So how this data is passed to the provider? See, that's what I told you in on the first day. If you see the information here, right? Let me paste it into no Word document. See how the information is going. Is the person who is typing in the search bar in Google is aware that this information will be sent like this? No, right?
Yeah.
But because the database, the servers which are fulfilling the request, who are giving you these data right here, this data must be somewhere, right? In the cloud, in the mainframe, in the database, somewhere, right?
Yeah.
So they need the request in some format. They want the request to come in this. You know only this, google.com. And then you provided this, ASDFGH. All the other things like source ID, everything is going automatically, right? So it is designed like that as per the contract. When you will click on this, so one form will get created at the back end. So this can be sent as a text, as a string, as a float, as a double, as an integer, right?
Okay. Got it, Salesh.
Right?
Thanks, Salesh.
Yeah. So where were we? So the tester now, the real work will start. So you will open the Swagger Hub file, okay? And you will see, okay, I have to test customer info, get customer info, right? So what we will do is, so we will read this first, okay? And Swagger Hub is a very beautiful application. What it does is it read the YAML in the black thing, okay? I already said how the YAML looks like, right? It is the same thing which is there in the black console, okay? It is very easy to understand, but still for the new beginners, it may look complex. Okay. So here the Swagger Hub comes for your help. So if your team is using Swagger Hub, your life is much, much easier. So what it does is it reads the entire thing here, YAML, and it creates a sample request for you in the right hand side. If you'll scroll down, it is saying that customer info mobile number, it takes the parameter mobile number, it takes the parameter consumer ID, right? It is a path parameter, takes the string value, minimum length is 10, maximum length is 10, right? Consumer ID, it will go as a header. Type is a string, right? What are the responses, expected responses? Response will come as 200, okay? And it will look like this. Mobile number, customer ID, full name, date of birth, email ID, remarks. If you will send a bad request, you will get an error message in this format. All these informations are there in this also. Okay. But if you want your life to be easy, just pray that your team is following Swagger Hub or having Swagger Hub access. Okay. So if you will pass wrong consumer ID, the authorization will fail and you will get gateway error 401, right? This is the most popular error, 404. You must have seen this, right? In the internet, 404 not found, right? So if record is not found, you will get 404. So everything is given here. If we'll read this, the black console, the same thing is there, okay? Parameters, mobile number, right? Required is true. See, required markage here, right? A schema is a string. See, a string and the format is integer. Minimum length, maximum length, everything is coming here, right? Then as a header, consumer ID is going as a header, right? Consumer ID is going as a header, correct? Responses are there, 200, 400, 401, everything is showing up here, right? 400, 401. If you will click on any of the schema, like this is the schema, right? If you will scroll your mouse, hover your mouse here, so it will show you jump to, click on jump to and see, it will show you what the 200 message will show you. So it will show you mobile number, customer ID, full name, date of birth, email ID, remarks, right? Everything is here also in the right hand side. So Swagger Hub analyzed the YAML for you and it created a sample response. So how to see this in SOAP UI? Now let's open SOAP UI. So we are going to, so the service is not developed yet, right? Only the definition we have, right? So it is asking you, so let's close this, okay? Let's not use this first. So we will create one REST project, okay? At the top, you must be seeing empty SOAP REST, right? So we will create a REST project because we have to test the REST API. So we'll click on REST. So it is asking you for the URI, right? URI. So right now my server is my local machine, the local host. So what I will provide, HTTP localhost. And I think port number is 8080. This is my local system address, okay? And then now we will go to Swagger Hub and we will see the definition of it.
Salish, can we use any other port apart from 8080? Like some softwares are already using that port, so they
So you
always
can see what
interfere.
port is free in your system, right? For that, you have to see that. What
Okay.
port is available in your system. I think it
Okay.
will not provide the port also, it will go to the default port, okay?
Okay.
So now our URI is this, right? Customer info, this one, right? So let me copy from here. This is our resource URI, right? So after the slash mark, what we will do is we will put it here, okay? Use only one slash mark, okay? So see, mobile number is going as a path parameter. Path parameter, the name itself suggests that it will go in the path, right? It will go in the path. So this is our entire address. Now, when I will click on OK, it will create a project with this API definition for you. See, there is another option, import WADL. We already have the YAML file. We can import that. Okay, but we are not doing it as of now because I want you to learn from scratch. Okay, you can provide even the Swagger Hub URL here itself, and it can import the entire definition at once. But learn how to do it manually. So we will click on OK. Okay, so see, this project got created for you. Okay, REST project 1. You can rename it if you want. So first project. Okay, so see, it has created for you, but it has only, so what it is showing, this information, our local host information, which we have already passed right now, and the URL, which we got from the Swagger Hub, right? Now we will go back to the Swagger Hub and we will see. So only the mobile number we passed, but it takes on one more parameter, right? Customer ID. And the type is header. So we will copy this also, consumer ID, and we will click on this plus sign. Okay, plus sign. We will add one parameter and we will choose the style as header. For mobile number, it took template because you have already passed in the path itself. If you will put anything in curly braces after a slash mark, it will understand it as a path parameter and it will automatically map it to the template style. Okay. And see, the default value also it took as mobile number, so you can delete that. Okay. So now your service is ready to be tested here, but your service is not ready, not deployed yet, right? Not developed yet. So what you will do is you will open either any application. If your company is using HPALM or any plugin in Jira, you can write your test case there. But most of the companies still now uses Excel, okay, to write the test cases and test for test planning. Okay, so at the beginning I told you do the risk analysis. So what is the most risky part here in this API? This is a very simple API. Okay, not much test cases are there, only 2 parameters are involved. But what is the most risky thing, right? I will share the Swagger Hub link, Abhi. Okay, so mobile number, if I pass mobile number and if I don't get the response in the expected format, then the functionality itself will not work. That is the most risky thing, right? What is the less risky thing? Providing mobile number with alphabets in it. So I told you help desk will get a automatic mobile number detection. So this case is almost impossible, right? So we will not insist much on these type of test cases. Okay, if you have time, you should test it. But So this is very simple service, okay, which I am taking for example. In the real time, if you will go, there will be 8-9 parameters involved, okay. Some different business logics must be involved. Okay, in that case, you have to analyze the risk, okay, which scenario has more risk. So here, the only risk is if I will provide mobile number and if I will not get the response. So most of the test cases, what you will do, you will do the validation against the Swagger definition, right? Swagger definition. So how you will see the definition? You will go to the positive case, right? This is the basic customer info responses 200, right? At the right side, I told you, this is how it will look like. So you will open this. And what you will verify, whether the mobile number is coming as a string or not, customer ID is coming as an integer or not, full name, okay, DOB, it should have only MMYYYY format. And explicitly in our requirement, our product owner had asked us to verify this. Remember? DOB only month and year. In acceptance criteria also he had mentioned help desk should not be able to see date of birth and DOB should be in the format of MMYYYYY. For what purpose, I don't know, but it must be important. That's why he has captured in the acceptance criteria. So your test case should be insisting more on such details, okay, on the acceptance criteria. And you already know that how the help desk is going to receive the call through automatic system, right? So there are very minimal chances that the format of mobile number will be faulty, right? We will still test those, okay? But try to understand, we will insist more on such test cases, okay? So now we will start writing our test case. How you will write the test cases? So first you can create one test plan document as well, okay? But this is a very small API. So in test planning, you can write that what you are going to validate, like, okay, in the first column, validate if user, or you can address yourself, if we are able to fetch basic customer info with 10-digit valid mobile number, right? This is one case, one use case, right? And the most important use case. Then validate that DOB is not having date, right? And it should have only month and year, right? So like this, you will plan, okay? When your development is happening in parallel, you will plan, okay? And you will write all the all the scenarios you can think of with the contract and the acceptance criteria, okay? Whatever business logic, you can call your developer, okay? That means what you are developing, any functionality, you try to understand with him, okay? What you are developing, what your understanding is, okay? So based on that, you can have several rounds of discussion with your developer, okay, while writing these things. Now, so this thing is done, test planning is done. You have noted down all the 8, 9, 10 points, right? That what are based on the acceptance criteria and contract means swagger, okay? Now, how you will write the test case? So first of all, your test case will have one test case ID, right? TC ID, test case ID. Then your test must be having some test case name, right? Then your test case have the test case description, right? You will be having some prerequisite, correct? Then you need one test data. Then you need expected response. Then you will have actual response. And based on that, you will have the test result, either passed or failed. if the test case failed, then test failure reason, right? Test failure reason. If test failed and you have a test failure reason, have you logged in a defect or not? Defect ID. So these are the basic things. You can have many things, other things also, but these basic things you need, right? These basic things you need. Let me increase the font for better readability. Now I hope you all can see it, right? I hope all of you can see it.
Yeah, we can see it.
Yes.
Yes. So how we will write. So first test case, TC 001. Suppose I have given one name, ID. Our first test case is, suppose the name of the test case is anything you can give, success scenario, okay? And we will describe it. Validate, or you can write scenario to validate the basic customer info is received when a valid mobile number is passed. So this can be your one of the test case, okay? Right? Prerequisite. We must be having a valid consumer ID. Consumer ID is nothing but the ID of the consumer from where the request will come. So it will be a help desk consumer ID, the front end consumer ID. You must be having this information, right? Because that is also a required field. Now test data. So suppose for now, I am providing you one test data. So you may have to refer some database or some other team to get this test data, but unfortunately I don't have any database which is free of cost, okay, to configure. So I cannot show you that. But test data, you have to either fetch it from some database or you have to reach out to some other team, okay? That
already
what
was
data
there khadi hai.
sorry,
Keep putting khadi. I want to kaya. Sorry. Luckily.
can you all go on mute, please? Okay, so expected response, okay? So expected response, you can say that if you already have the data, if you already have the database access or something, right? So you will be having the customer ID, the customer name, everything you will be having, right? So you will write that expected thing here, okay? And when you will test it, actually you will test it. The actual response which you will receive, you will paste it here. And based on that, you will pass your test case, pass or fail, right? Pass or fail. If it failed, why it has failed? Why it has failed? One reason can be DOB not in agreed format, right? Right? And you will raise one defect for this. Anything def ID 123 in Jira itself. I will tell you how to raise that, but this can be one of your test case. Okay. So now suppose you wrote all these test cases. So let's write some negative test case as well. Okay, for you. So TC002 with non-existing mobile number, okay, with non-existing mobile number. So scenario to validate the correct error response when any non-existing mobile number is passed. Non-existing means that mobile number does not exist in the system of that company, okay? Like if we are talking about Bell or Roger, right? So in Roger, that mobile number is not there. What is a prerequisite? Again, we must have the consumer ID. This is a prerequisite. There can be many other prerequisite as well. You can say that the service must be available, it must be deployed in dev, right? You can write that. You can write that. Oh, give me a minute. Okay. API must be deployed in SIT environment.
So Sailesh, I had a
Yes.
question. So where are we getting these details from? Like, is this the responsibility of the tester?
Yes, you have to ask these questions in the planning call itself.
Got it.
And the requirement came, right? That you have to
Mhm.
get the basic customer information with mobile number. If you are new in the team, right? If you don't know which databases to look for, you will ask, okay? That means I'm new in the team and I don't know from where to gather this information. So can any one of you tell me from where I will get this data for testing? Then your developer lead or the product owner will help you, okay? And if that database access is not there, your Scrum Master will get you that access.
No, but this Excel would be maintained by the tester.
Yes, and it should be uploaded in the central repository.
Got it.
There must be something, okay? Some application where you have to upload it,
Sure.
okay?
Thank you.
Before ending the test case.
Got
Okay.
it.
So I think we have already reached the time, right? 4 more minutes. So suppose, right? So we will give any 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 0. So this is a invalid mobile number, right? Expected response is a valid error response. Actual, we don't know as of now, okay? Suppose it, so again, pass or fail depending on the execution. So like this, so again, a mobile number with alphabet, okay? A mobile number, right? Less than 10 characters, a mobile number with more than 10 characters, digits, right? This can be your test cases with a special character, +1, +91, right? You can think of all the test cases, okay? Then again, another field is there, consumer ID. You can keep on writing this. So now, suppose your service is up now. It is deployed in dev. You got in Jira, you got one notification. In Jira, you got one notification that the service is up and it can be tested now. Yeah, 1 minute. This is MA10. I am looking for MA1, right? So suppose you got this, that this is done, development is done, code review is done, unit after 4 or 5 days, okay? And a site deployment is also done, right? So you will keep on getting these notifications, okay? If you have assigned this to yourself, okay? In this user story. And your developer, ideally, developer will tag you like this, okay? Development is complete and code is successfully deployed in SIT. Please start your testing. Actually, in Agile, developers and testers work in a collaboration. So you need not to see all these things in a day. You will connect once. Okay, I will come to that point where you will connect. But Jira also should be updated. Okay, Jira should also be updated. So we'll come to know that this will happen. So I told you that in the first 6 days, the development will happen, then the testing will happen. But what about the status, whether we are on the we are on the right track or not? For that, you will have a daily stand-up call. I told you this, right? A stand-up meetings. So usually teams have it, the first meeting will be this only at 9 a.m. Okay, mostly. Some teams may have at the by the end of the day also, but mostly standard wise, it will be the first meeting in the day. In this meeting, you are supposed to tell what you have worked yesterday, what you are going to work on today, and if you have any impediments to achieve your task. Impediments means any blocker. So developer will also highlight. So a Scrum Master will reach out to everyone one by one. Okay, that developer one. And developer one will tell, okay, I have worked on this MA01 story, this subtask, MA01 story, and I was coding, okay? But I am not able to connect to the provider system. I am facing some difficulty. Then a Scrum Master will note it down, okay? And the Scrum Master will ask him, okay, that after this meeting, please just stay back in the meeting, and I will try to get you one contact from that team who will help you to get the connection with the provider system, okay? Your turn came, okay? Then you will tell, okay, I was writing the test case, planning use cases and test cases for this API, but I am not able to get the test data. I tried to connect to the database, but it is throwing some error. Okay, then a Scrum Master will arrange some help for you. Okay, that you please contact him or please get back to me after this call. Okay, and I will help you to get the data information, how to get the data, right? And this will happen every day at the start of the day. Okay, and the duration of this call is maximum 15 minutes. Okay, only 2 to 3 points everyone has to make, that what you have worked on yesterday, what you are going to work on today, and if you are facing any impediment. You are not going to discuss anything on that. The Scrum Master will make a note of all the impediments, and the Scrum Master will reach out to you after the call. Okay, or you have to reach out to the Scrum Master after the call. Okay, but this thing has been highlighted, and the same should be commented in Jira. Unable to connect to database or test data. Tag Scrum Master. Okay, right now there is no user, I am the only one. So suppose Rasmi is a Scrum Master, I will assign it to Rasmi. Okay, so Scrum Master has been informed that you are unable to DB. Now, no one can point a finger to you that you are missing on the timeline. You have highlighted on the right time. You have highlighted the risk, right? That I am facing this issue. You can even change the status to blocked, okay? In the free version, I don't know whether they have done that feature or not. Probably not, but in the real Jira, okay, when you will go to the team, you can actually block the issue. You can flag it, okay? You can flag it. I'm not sure whether they have given this or not. Add flag, yes. Add flag is there. So it has been flagged. Some custom flag will also be there in your team, that blocker, impediment, something like that. So now this story has been flagged. So if you'll go there, SIT testing, so your Scrum Master will be notified that this story has been flagged, and he will provide you the proper support for that. Now, suppose everything is good. Now it has been deployed, okay? It has been deployed. And now you have to test. So how you will test? So let me start the services first. So I have created some mock service to give you a feel of the real services. Okay, so let me start that. Okay, it is started. So now, right now, suppose you have only one data, 9860530577. Okay, so without consumer ID, first you will trigger this. Okay, but it is not responding. Now, why it is not responding? Maybe I have not given the right way, localhost 8080, right? Then customer number, mobile number, okay? So it is not going through. So let me see why it is not going through. So probably my services are not up, which I have just ran, right? So see, 404 not found is coming, right? Right now the 404 not found is coming. So there must be some problem with it, okay? Some problem with it. What is the problem? This is an intentional problem which I have done, okay? So let's go back to the Swagger to see what information we have missed. We went here, we have copied the right URL, right? But what we have missed is the product and version number. There can be a different versions of the same service. Version 1, version 2 with some enhancement, right? So how to include this? So I will show you how to include this. So see, you should have version number, then the consumer number, product ID, and then the URL. So V1 was missing, okay, because the version 1. So this thing will be informed by you, by your developer or dev lead, okay, so don't worry about that. So in the here we have to include a V1, and let's trigger it now. Just a minute, last minute. So see, you have got the authorization error, right? You have received one response, authorization error, because we have not passed the consumer ID. So now you have to go back to the Swagger to see whether you are getting the correct description or not for this test case. Scenario to validate whether we are getting right error message when we are sending request without consumer ID. This is your test case, right? There is in Swagger, we have defined the right error code and description for 401, right? If you will go here again to the consumer ID and search for 401, this is the definition of 401. Here, if you will go, gateway error, backend error, or authorization error can be the value. So what you are getting here? Authorization error. So it is in this list? Yes. So means you are fine. Then source. Source is security gateway. Again, we will go to Swagger. Is it in the list? Security gateway. You are good. Okay. Error details. Auth 1001. If it is there, so no information provided, right? Error details is there and it has code, but it is saying that a string, an example is ABS 1001. Now you don't have information. What you will do now? Whether it is the right code or not, you will reach out to your developer. That how you have configured this. Do you have any document for it? Or are you documenting it? So developer has to create one user guide, okay, for all these things. And he will provide you the user guide as well, that with the all error codes and error descriptions. And you have to validate these things against that user guide, right? And it should match, okay, what he has configured. So now let's provide the consumer ID. So let me get the right consumer ID for you. This is all of the mock things, okay? So I have just mocked it. I have written one a small script for it. So I have already overshooted the time. Just the last thing before we disconnect. Script. So the auth, right? This is the only. Don't try to understand these things. You are not supposed to understand these things. So we have one valid consumer ID. So we will pass that and then we will see. So yes, we are getting the response, but see the date of birth. Is it in right format?
No.
So this is a defect. This is a defect, right? So now
Yeah.
we have already reached 9 a.m., right? 9 p.m., sorry. So I will send you the Excel sheet which I am creating. So I have already shared you the Google Drive, right? Google Drive in one email. In the same Google Drive, I will keep this Excel sheet. I will keep this Swagger Hub link, okay, YAML, and I will send you this project as well, which we have created right now. You can go to Ready API and you can import the project, okay? I will send you one XML file. Just select that XML file from import like this. I will show you that as well. Go to any folder which you may have in your system. Sorry, all files. FWIC training and see, look for the project file. So XML, can you see anywhere? Yes. So this is the XML file. Like this only you will get the project.xml. Just import that and open. It will open in your SOAP UI. Okay. And then I will send you one services also. Okay. Services project also. Services project also you can import in the same way, and you have just need to right click on this resource, okay, and a start before testing, okay. You just need to do a start this thing. That's all, nothing else. Start minimized, and then your APIs will start working in your SOAP UI as well, okay. So for today, let's stop here, and on Wednesday again we will see how to write a proper test case, okay. I have just given you an overview, okay, how to write a proper test case, how to raise a defect, how to get those defects fixed, okay. Got it? Now if you have any question till here, please ask. Anyone has any question? So let me stop the YouTube recording. So you please stay in this call, okay. I'm just saying bye for the people who will be watching it on YouTube, okay. So bye everyone, and I'm stopping the recording of YouTube now.